DJ.
Howdy.
Really? Hey,
What?
ladies and gentlemen, we are the Sci-Fi Nerds, and we're back with a brand new reaction video. Well, not
Woo.
reaction, but movie review today, and it is the Mazinger Z Infinity. Actually, we're normally on Thursdays, but we had to do a makeup. Had to do a makeup day, so today Tuesday, and so we just wanted to share our thoughts and opinions on this. This is actually my first time watching this, and I thought it was really, really cool. But before we dive in, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm one of the hosts. I am Donald.
DJ.
Remy.
And we are half of the Sci-Fi Nerds. Doris, of course, we miss you. Serge, Nick, we miss you guys. Adrian, he said, y'all boys are on late. I was
Gonna go to sleep. Nah, no sleeping. There is no sleeping.
Oh, man. Shout out to Adrian, man. Adrian's real cool.
Sleep is for the week, Adrian.
He posted a video a couple days ago on a 25 centimeter X Plus Godzilla figure. Man, it was awesome.
Woo. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it was awesome. He's got some cool reviews.
Yeah.
So he definitely makes me want to get into collecting. Well, his whole group, Monsters with Attitude, is cool. So if you guys don't know who they is, man, look them up. Monsters with Attitude, they're awesome.
I know. I look at every single time I look at X Plus figures, I'm like, wow, that looks cool. Never gonna be able to afford it, but it looks cool.
Yeah,
pinch your pennies.
Now until I get a job, I'm like, well, nah, we'll wait.
Yeah, we'll just wait on it. It's all good. Well, DJ Mazinger Z Infinity was an awesome movie. Really enjoyed it, and I didn't even know it was an animated film. So that's what made it even more better to me because I always loved animation. Adrian, I completely agree with him, but my body ain't making it tonight. Get your rest, Adrian, because I need some.
Catch you next time.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, really, really good guy, man. But yeah, this is my first time viewing this movie, getting the Mazinger experience, DJ, and I gotta say, man, I was pleased. I was really, really impressed. The plot was good. The characters were great. They had a great cast. It was two guys that made me laugh a lot when they were together.
Was it Boss and
yeah. I love you too, bro. Appreciate you.
Love you too, man. Get some sleep.
Yep.
But they were awesome. So DJ, I'll start with you. First question I have: in your own words, explain the introduction to Mazinger Z, because there was a lot of action in the. Yeah, I didn't even know it was the intro. And DJ, you always do this to me. He picks movies, Remy, that I just think I don't even think about the intro. I just get into it and then it's like an intro. I'm like, dang, that was cool. So
he always picks movies that always like start right on the action.
Yes, DJ always.
What the hell's happening? Wait.
Yeah, like,
what's going on?
Who's who? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, wait, what am I looking at? Wait.
Yeah.
What am I rooting for?
Why are they calling them kaiju? But they're like giant robots. They don't look like kaiju. What is happening? What?
DJ movies is straight to the point. Like, I know when he picks a movie, I know the first 3 minutes is gonna be some fighting. It's something's going down in whatever movie he picks. So that's what I really appreciate about that. But yes, DJ, in your own word, in the introduction to Mazinger.
So the movie, from my understanding, is supposed to take place about 10 years chronologically after the anime series originally ended. So I haven't watched the anime series, unfortunately, yet. So I know that there's a lot that I'm not going to be 100% certain on, but from my understanding, you've got the Mazinger suits that I think they like dug up or something like that. And so you have the one guy piloting it, and he's trying to protect one of the major world power plants that's based in America. And it's just, balls to the wall, just blowing stuff up left and right, fighting all these different.
It's a mech anime. What are you going to expect from it? Nothing but insanity.
Well, you got these kaiju, mecha kaijus,
Yeah.
as they call them. You
I
know,
was like, kaiju. I'm like, they're not even organisms. They're robots. What are you talking about?
but I mean, they weren't just all like your
Yeah.
traditional robots either.
Yeah.
So
No, I was the same. It was just at first I
yeah,
was confused. I'm like, why they call them kaiju? And then it's
No,
calling me angry.
normally when they have like robots like that, I do identify him as kaiju. Like same way with like Mecha Godzilla, I kind of identify him.
That's true.
yeah,
Anything
because
that,
Or like a mech kaiju, basically, or like
yeah,
giant.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure none of them had like actual pilots.
Yeah, no, they were all just like on their own.
Automaton kind of
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
no, I thought that.
but yeah, just you know, you get introduced to all these special moves right off the bat, and just
Yeah.
you're used to like, oh, they took out one or two. No, he's like wiping out hundreds at a time, and they just keep coming.
Dead.
So,
Dead.
yeah. So the opening is introducing us to basically the main conflict, that we're gonna run into later on. So we have basically like the current pilot, whose mission it is to defend the world from these mecha kaijus, and he's doing his best to take out the mall, protect the power plant, and everything. But they get the jump on him, and then you're left not knowing what exactly happens to him. And that's where it cuts to an occurrence 6 months prior, where they discover this ginormous, like, mega mech, where like the robots are as big as its nose. Like their suit, which is giant, is the size of its nose. And so we get so they discover the head unit of that. This other pilot, he's a scientist now and everything, taking a look at it, and all of a sudden there's a mysterious cyborg woman that pops out, and then it cuts to like current time. So so that's pretty much the first like 5 minutes wrapped up.
So one of the things that did stand out to me was excuse me, I can't remember his name, but he was the kaiju that could detach his head and his head floats around. I thought that was cool. I thought he was like the final boss. I was like, dang, but he was really, really cool. And then, like you said, DJ, watching the introduction, you can see all these different kaiju, and he's not just taking out one; he's taking out like hundreds of them. Like there were so many of them that had so many different designs, and I'm like, I mean, the movie just starts off. I was into it. So, and this movie to me, it went by fast because it was so good. I'm like, dang, it could have been a little longer, but it was a pretty long movie. But that's how into it I was. So, I will say there was a pretty good intro. DJ, you always, like I said, you picked the best movies with the best intros. And I'll be forgetting it's an intro, and then right when it cuts, I'm like, oh, okay, that was an intro. So I'm like, dang, I'm already into it. So that's cool. I enjoyed that. Remy, I'm coming to you. In your own words, explain the introduction to Mazinger Z.
Well, like I said, it's a mech anime, so you're gonna get some stuff. You're just like, what is happening? Looks cool as hell, but what's happening? That was basically my reaction to the beginning of this. I'm like, this looks great, the animation, mwah, superb. But what the hell is happening? Who is who? What is going on? What? Why is there a huge mech called Infinity right here? What is he doing? What? So, but like again, this is like my first time watching anything Mazinger related, so it was really interesting to like just go into it like that, because like it piqued my interest. I would say, like in the beginning, I'm just like, okay, what is going on? I want to know like what exactly this world is and like what happens in it. And then it was like really cool, and then you have the whole mystery with Infinity open up, and you get the girl popping out, which is like again anime. freaking naked cyborg girl. I'm like, okay, sure, we'll run with it. Thanks, Japan. Sure.
Got to get the fan service somewhere.
We'll talk about the fan service later. We'll talk about that. Good God. All right. Anyway, but like, yeah, no, that was it was like a really interesting thing. And another thing that like stuck out to me was that the 3D animation or the animation, the combination between the 2D and the 3D, was actually really good. I was actually impressed with the 3D animation in this movie. I was like, oh wow, this actually looks really good. Like it actually looks better, I think, than some other anime movies.
Yeah, they actually could have put a little more 3D animation in this because it was real good. That was a good point you brought up, Remy, because I completely forgot about that. But the variety of 2D and 3D that you can see in the same shot was really cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Anything else you want to add?
Had a cool theme, had a cool intro theme, I would say.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It did. Yeah, it did. Had a pretty cool thing.
I had to like force myself to follow along with what was happening in the intro in order to understand some backstory. I'm like, okay, focus. Some old guy dies, takes control of the machine, starts punching people. All right, cool, got it.
I told you, when DJ pick a movie, I just watch it. I don't even know where the intro starts, where it ends. It just starts off with fighting. That's all I know.
And that's the fun thing because the intro is like, if it was back in the old day and you were running a video, you would think that the VHS was in the middle.
That's true.
But it's the beginning. So
you're like, what the hell? What happened? Like I missed the whole movie. Like it's in the middle. What happened? Oh, this is the beginning. Oh,
yeah, you would. You definitely would. That's a good point, DJ. To question number 2, name DJ. I'm coming to you. Name some of the characteristics or traits that stood out to you about Koji.
The main guy.
Yeah.
So, one of the first things is he's fearless.
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to step up and do what needs to be done. Very inquisitive. He's he's introduced to a mystery and he wants to figure it out. He's not just like, oh, this is what it is and that's that. He's actually trying to deduce what the possibilities are for all the factors that are coming into play, with the girl and everything else that's happening. He's loyal. And I would say he's compassionate too. He may have a hard time showing it. That's kind of seems to be kind of what they're emphasizing in there, that he doesn't show it very well. But as you're watching him and stuff, you see that he has it. It's just, he's a fighter, so it's not always an easy thing for him to express. So,
yeah, I definitely agree with that. Especially with the compassion side of it. Maybe he struggled with showing it, or maybe he didn't know how to show it in the beginning because it was a huge gap that he made from the beginning of the film towards the ending of the film.
mm-hmm.
We already see that he's fearless, and I think he's very wise too. He's fearless, but he's smart about how he's going about battle. He's not going to just run into a battle. I think he'll think before he just dives into a battle. So he's definitely fearless. I agree with that. He's very compassionate about it. I really do think that he's very level-headed. I don't think he's just going to run into battle, act crazy. He's going to think things through, and he's going to try to help out to fix a solution or find a solution to a problem. I'd say so. No, I agree with you on that, DJ. No, that's a really good answer. Remy, I'm coming to you. Name some of the characteristics or traits that stood out to you about Koji.
I think there's like a lot of I noticed there was like a lot of like the classic kind of like traits you see in like and like a giant anime mech protagonist, like courageous, intelligent, uh, compassionate is like another one I would say. Like it kind of carries a lot of those traits too. And I thought the most interesting thing they brought up in the movie was like I think it was that conversation between him and between Koji and Doctor Hell or something like that, whatever the main
Yeah,
villain
yeah.
is. They have a conversation where Hell's is like, "Oh, you like hunger for battle. You like hunger for war. You're like me. You don't like you know peace is temporary. You know, like you want to go back in the battle. Like in the beginning of the movie, he was just like we saw like when all those troops I think were getting like taken out by Infinity. He like ran right into that scenario because he just wanted to get back into the fight. So I thought that was like the most interesting part about it because he's like, because I think Koji kind of like didn't even like say he was wrong. He was like, no, you're right. I do want the battle, but
Yeah.
like I want I want to give you the smoke because I just have to because you're just gonna cause more mayhem. So that's why. But like I did like that fact about his character. I did like how kind of had that arc where he was kind of more open to his girlfriend later on in the movie, which I thought was cool. So like, yeah, no, I liked those aspects of Koji's character. I thought they made him more interesting than just the usual shonen protagonist.
Yeah, and I remember when you bring up Koji's girlfriend. I can't remember all the names. Sorry, guys. Sorry, DJ. It's hard for me to keep up
No,
the
I can't
names.
remember her name. I can't remember their names either. I have to look them up.
Yeah.
And it goes back to your point as well, DJ, about the compassion part. But you can see at the beginning they're kind of going through it because she's kind of down, and she feels like she's being overlooked, and she's been overlooked for some time or like a while. So it's something that's kind of been going on for a while. And then towards the end, well, she slapped him. She slapped him so hard, pow. But you can kind of see towards the end that's when he began to have a change of heart, and then he goes inside the. I don't know if it was the future or just he just blacks out and goes inside another world or what, and then he begins, and I think that helps him out a lot too. He begins to see himself in a completely different person, right? Loving, having a family. So I think that kind of helped him out in showing him what he could be. Besides just being that fearless, leader or warrior and thinking about work all the time. There's other things that you have to think about, which was, his family. So I thought it was pretty cool to see that side of Cody, especially towards the end. You could definitely see the progress and the transition he made from the beginning to the end. DJ, I'm coming back to you. Outside of Koji, who was your favorite character in this film and why?
I like the cyber girl.
Lisa.
Yeah.
I looked at their names just now, by the way. So anybody needs a character name, I have them up here.
Okay.
So,
okay.
so she was a pretty unique character because she was essentially born for a specific reason,
Mhm.
and like we don't really understand what it is that her job is, like what her existence is meant for, until we get to that end point where they start going into that kind of alternate reality, and she's basically hacking into the Mazinger Infinity to counteract it, because they can't break through Professor Hell's hold over it, but she has a backdoor key to be able to get in and basically copy its abilities and transfer it into Koji's Mazinger.
That was cool.
So, but what's also cool is that she understands what the alternate reality is. And you were touching on this. When Koji goes into it, she tries to start explaining, like, these are all possibilities of what could be, what
Yeah.
the world could be. And this is what the true power of the Mazinger Infinity is. And that's why she was, kind of freaking out when he touched the cube, because he could have accidentally activated like a hellscape. But
Yeah.
but what he activated was the potential of what his life could be, and you realize that she's his daughter.
Yep.
As a result of that. So because he makes that connection, it brings her, essentially her destiny, to fulfillment.
You said I had to witness when you put
Yeah. No, I agree with that, DJ. That was a good sentiment. And Lisa also had this cool scene where she had to fend off the bad guys for them at one point. And I thought that was really, really cool. And not only that, they allowed her to have feelings in this film as well. So she was able to have a sense of how someone was feeling, being able to project their feelings and feel them. And so I thought that was cool, because normally, maybe if you're a mech or an android or something like that, you really don't have feelings. It's something that you have to learn. But it seems like she had them right then and there. Almost like Dragon Ball Z. Was it Android 16, the big guy? Yeah. He didn't have it. He had to learn that, being around, Bulma and Krillin and all them. So so that was really cool that she did have that experience. She was one of my favorites. Also, those two, I don't know their name, Remy, but the two that hung out with each other, they were running from the kaiju.
I know one of them was just called Boss. I don't know the other one's name.
They were running from
the guys with the soccer.
The restaurant workers, whatever. They had that robot.
They were cool. They were cool. I liked them a lot because it brought some humor to the movie, and the humor came at the perfect time. And I thought they were like the perfect match for each other. They were really cool, and every time they showed them, I laughed. So it was good. It was good having that balance in this film, but it was really, really funny when they were running from those kaiju, and then when they were going, I saw that big kaiju pop up, and they really start going. They end up getting hit, and they crash. I thought that was real cool. So they brought a lot of humor, a lot of much needed humor, because the tone of this movie to me, it seemed really, really serious, and it was perfect for this film because of what Dr. Hell was trying to do to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of made me kind of anxious over time, trying to figure out, okay, and I knew he was going to be a serious problem just based off how he looked. I was like, yeah, it's going to be hard to beat this guy. Design was cool. Accent was cool. His character, everything about Dr. Hell was like cool. I was like, okay, he's like an awesome villain. Like, I would definitely like to see him more. I don't care what universe, what world, I would definitely like to see him more. But I'm coming to you, outside of Koji, who was your favorite character and why?
I think I have to go with DJ on this one. I thought Lisa was probably like one of the better characters in the movie, just because of the fact that I think that I like her design. I like her character. I think she had like a very like bubbly kind of personality, and not to mention that she actually kind of helps Koji like kind of see, like she kind of like gives him some insight and stuff like that when they're like crying or something like that in the middle of the movie. Like she offers him some advice and he kind of like listens to her and he kind of like takes it in the end. So I really kind of enjoyed that, where it wasn't just like a side character, but she actually sort of helped the main character like grow in the story. And she was actually there for like the final battle, which was like, I think pretty cool that she was like the co-pilot. Like, so like, I thought that was like really interesting.
Yeah, she had a pretty big role, and I'm glad that she made it. I was like, man, I didn't know if she was gonna make it or not. And like I said, this is my first time watching it, so I had no idea, what was gonna happen. But no, you're right, Remy. You're right as well, DJ. Her playing a major factor and a major character in this movie. It was good. It was a really, really good role for her to fulfill. Like I said, she had feelings, passion, being able to read and sense people, and then, like you said, even being the pilot towards the end, she plays a major factor in them overcoming the battle in the end. So, Lisa's definitely a top-notch character. And I gotta find an animation show. I gotta find a series to this because I want to get more into it. So, but I will find it. I will find it. DJ, we see a lot of awesome kaiju in this film. So obviously, I want to ask you, what was some of your favorite kaiju designs that you saw in the Mazinger Z film?
One of the ones that really stood out was the one that was like a snake with a big buzzsaw, frill for its neck.
Man, those are dangerous.
That one was just crazy. And then you had the one that was like almost like a transformer, where it went from like a jet mode to robot mode, and it just had missiles like coming out of everywhere.
Yeah, I think
Just
come out of
Like, show up Mechagodzilla, just missiles everywhere. Tell missiles, missiles.
So
like God.
So, but yeah, I mean, there was just so many that were so, like you saw multiples of them, but they were still so unique. And the fact that like every kaiju had its own kind of attack, like its own. It wasn't just everybody was laser beams or everybody was just missiles or whatever. Like,
yeah,
some of them were literally all they could do was just physically get up close and try and hit the heroes and stuff. And then other ones had the range attacks like lasers or lightning or missiles or whatever it was. And then you had the one crazy one that could like come apart and had the two.
That's the one I like. Yeah,
saw blades, on the either has, and then he had the pill in the middle, and and reconfigure itself, and so that
was the one I think that had like the two faces, like the two, like the person did.
Yeah, that one was dangerous. That was one of my favorite ones. Could you imagine just dealing with something like that, or just even?
Well, and then some of them had like the drilling capabilities, so they could just come up from under the ground and stuff. It's like you don't know where any of these things are going to hit you from.
Freaking Megalon.
And then they were like, I don't know if it was just me or not, but it was like a constant nonstop thing where they were just popping up. I'm like, dang, how many is it? Like, it's like an army of them. Like when you first see them fighting, you don't see as much. Like, okay, he's just gonna fight maybe 4 or 5. And then they just keep coming. The guy that can remove his head, he was cool. And then he was with was it the lady that he was with that had the blades that had him trapped?
It was a lady man. Like one half was a lady, one half was a man.
Yeah, okay.
That character was called Baron Ashura or something like that.
I was like, these designs were, and they weren't like no bootleg designs. Like you could tell they really thought these designs through it, which made it even better. Which made it cool. So, especially the what you were talking about, DJ, with the snake-like body with the blood. Oh, that was amazing. That was cool. I liked that one. I enjoyed that one a lot. So, they had a lot of different kaiju designs. Like, it's hundreds. Like, even in the intro, you see so many different cool kaiju designs you could pick from. So,
and they were all, and they were all moving uniquely too, which, again, get props to their animation studio.
Yep.
The animation was cool. The animation was really cool. And the mechs were really versatile. They wasn't like limited. They could like move, like combat move. And that's another thing that made them dangerous because you're not only fighting the mech, but you find the mech that got blades. Like we already mentioned, the mech that shoot missiles from everywhere, kneecaps, elbows, chest, you name it. I mean, that was cool. It was real cool. Remy, I'm coming to you.
My ear. Like, God.
What was some of your favorite kaiju designs in the Mazinger Z Infinity?
It's hard to remember most of them because, again, like I kind of watched this movie like last week, and plus, like, I think like most of the time I was like looking at designs and I was like, what the hell am I even looking at? Like, what are these things? But I think my favorite two designs, I think, were the ones used by the two higher ups, the two general characters. I thought those were probably the most interesting because like you had one that like its head was detached, and I think that head could also turn into a weapon. So I was like, what the fuck? I was like, but like I thought that was really cool, and I really liked the one that had like the two faces where it could split and it could trap his opponent in there. I'm like, that's cool. I like that because I thought, not to mention that I thought those two when Mazinger like fought those two kaiju, I thought that was actually probably one of the like best fights in the movie, just because like the animation was amazing and like the camera, the cinemat, like the way the camera followed along with them was really neat.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I think those are like my two favorite. Like those are like really cool looking mech kaiju designs.
Like I said, I mean it's hundreds of kaiju.
I know there's so many
that you could pick from, and they could be your favorite. Because I didn't my personal opinion, I didn't see a kaiju that had a bad design or too crazy of a design. I thought they were all perfect, especially the ones that had pretty decent screen time. So that's what made it really, really good. And then it had some shots in there with some of these kaiju where they're in 2D, and then the fighting goes to like 3D for a little bit. So I like the combination of them, adding that as well. So that was pretty cool. So the animation definitely gets 2 thumbs up, and I love animation, so I'm always trying to see how good it looks. So it's a pretty good animation. This is what 2017. So animation holds up pretty well. DJ, I'm coming to you. What was your favorite sequence or sequences in this film, and why?
So, one of the ones that just always cracks me up is when the 4 dancers pop up in their mechs. And here's the thing. I don't know if there was an anime that I watched when I was a kid, and I don't know if it was actually Mazinger Z, or Mazinger series, or if it was some other one, and it just happens to be very similar or whatever. But in the anime series, the main character piloted a mech very similar to Mazinger, where he was always like shooting out his fist to punch the enemy monsters and stuff like that. Right. And he had a girl that was helping him out, and she piloted her own mech, and it was just like the dancer girl ones, where the boobs shot out as missiles. And I always remember it as a kid watching that. I always thought it was just so hilarious because it was just so weird. And like I didn't understand what was going on because I was so young at the time. But I was like, that's just so funny. So like when that scene popped up, I was just like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that's someone's fetish out there. Boobs and shit. Hell yeah. Like, no, God. Come on, man. Come on, man. He's too down bad for that, man. He can't do that.
I forgot about that in this movie. When I first saw it, I was like, oh dang. Even they fighting, so
yeah.
I was just like, oh God. I was like, what?
But I mean, ultimately, the sequence I really enjoyed was kind of the whole final battle, because you have his buddies and their 2 mechs, trying to distract the whole army and stuff like that, to give him time to pop up basically from underneath. And try and get as close to the Mazinger Infinity, and so he's in the process of doing that, and then he runs into the 2 generals, and just the whole fight with him popping up and still dealing with the foot soldiers, and then dealing with the generals, and then having to go up against Professor Hell in his own mech, and having to duke out with that, and then still has to fight Mazinger Infinity, and it's just like, and you actually see like the wear and tear happening as the whole thing is progressing. It's not like it's not like it comes out pristine and then all of a sudden he's just falling apart or whatever. Like you see it as the battle's progressing, parts are getting blown off, damage is coming up everywhere and everything. And he's even he's personally taking damage too throughout the whole fight sequence and stuff. So, so that whole long drawn out battle is just amazing because of all the detail that they threw in there and made it so you could understand what was happening, even though it was all.
Nah, DJ, you make Some really good valid points. Like I said, I'll go back to some of my favorite sequences is when Lisa had helped them out earlier in the film when she needed to help them out. I thought that was cool. Even the introduction to Dr. Hale, I was like, geez, they really took their time and they put this together because he had a really cool design, and he had to make of a villain, and that's what I love the most about this movie. I was like, dang, how they gonna beat him? I was curious the whole time to how they were gonna defeat him, and it's almost like he gave them an ultimatum before he did what he did. It's like, look, this is what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna get back to you when you make a decision. And so I thought that was cool, and that's what kept me anxious throughout the movie. And of course, the intro, DJ. I got to put the intro in there. I might as well go ahead because they got started right at the beginning, which made it cool, which made it fun. You see a lot of fights, a lot of different kaiju designs, a lot of different kaiju movements.
And one of the little tidbits that also I thought was pretty cool was the fact that he's piloting the mech, but he's broadcasting his shouts for his moves. Like they take it outside of the cockpit, and you still hear him like over a loudspeaker, like messenger chest beam, messenger missiles.
Yeah. Well, both him and Dr. Hell are both like shouting out their attacks. Like this attack, that attack. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, no wonder you guys are dodging them so easily. You're literally announcing them to your opponent.
What about you, Remy? What were some of your favorite sequences from this film?
Well, the final battle for one. I thought the final battle was like really good, really entertaining, really fun. Like the fight between Mazinger and like the two generals was like really well done. Like at first I thought it was like a tracking shot because it looked like that for a while. I was like, oh my god, there's like no cuts. The camera's just like been following them for like a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And like when there was a cut, you could still tell what was happening. So like that was like really impressive. That entire fight with Dr. Hell, and then have the fight Infinity, and then eventually the Zinger asked for like a freaking spirit bomb, like literally saying, "Send me your energy." Literally, I thought of that. I was like, oh my god, it's literally Goku asking for people's energy to take out Majin Buu. It's literally that battle. So that was kind of fun. I also did like the scene where it was Kyoji and Yumi, his girlfriend, at the little restaurant. I thought that was a really good scene, especially with Jun Tetsuya's, the other guys that was in the other Mazinger, his wife, I think, or his wife. Like I really like that scene where like she reminisces about their time in that like little room that they were in. Like I thought that was actually really cool. And I did really like the ending where they had like Lisa like humming. Like I thought that was actually a really like cute ending where it's just her humming. Like we've had this entire insane movie happening, and then the movie just ends with this little girl humming in an image of Mazinger statue. I thought that was like really cool. I was like, oh wow, this is actually really
statue. He dropped it.
Yeah, and then when the four women showed up at first, not the robots, but just showed up at first. But that's one of my favorite parts for reasons.
Let's shout the bazookas out, Remy.
Listen, man. Hey, listen. Anime has a crowd. All right, they gotta feed their crowd, man. And sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I do. This was just like, why am I seeing this? I don't mind seeing it, but come on.
When I first saw it, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, oh dang, they fighting too. I was like, oh, where did this come from? It got me something off guard. I just kept watching. I was like.
Did you not like shake your head when like the freaking robots shake their butts too? I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, what? I'm like, it's funny. I would actually love to see Godzilla take on those four. He'd be like, what the hell is this? What am I doing? I don't got time for this. What is this? Kong's just like, no, wait. I think they're on to something. Yeah.
Okay, so I actually went with this question here. I actually want to stay right here into the last sequence. DJ was actually two questions. two questions I'm going to ask you. In your own words, how would you describe Dr. Hell, and how would you describe the final sequence involving him with Koji?
So Dr. Hell, at first it almost seems like he's, just a straightforward kind of stereotypical villain, just like, I just want to destroy everything because of whatever.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like he's taking on the mantle of being evil to test the heroes. Like, he really doesn't care, about people or anything in general. And, I don't know exactly what happened prior to the movie, so I don't know, like, what kind of development there was for his character or anything like that. But the fact that, like, he comes in, he quickly obtains the power and essentially could easily just wipe out everything, but instead he's like, let's see what you guys, what you guys are going to be willing to do. And then, he does it again with the final battle. He's, a lot of times you get the villain who tries to get into the head to just mess with them and distract them and stuff. But it's almost like he's trying to recruit him as a partner instead. Like, he sees the value in Koji, and he wants him to join his side of the worldview and, enjoy the chaos of whatever it is that they do.
That's pretty perspective.
So, it's like I said, you could easily throw him into the mustachio villain that's twirling his mustache and everything, but he's a lot more complex than that, and it's a different kind of take for a villain, in my opinion, from the norm. So,
I'll say this. Like I said, when I first seen him, like I said, this is my first time watching this animated movie. When I first seen him, I was like, yeah, he's got the makings of being a cool villain. Just the way that he talks. He meant business from the beginning. And then that's why I was going back earlier. I was saying it's almost like he gave him an ultimatum. Like, okay, before I actually do what I say I'm going to do, I want to sit back and see how you guys handle this. I want to sit back and see how you guys are going to approach me before we really actually come to blows. And so I thought that was one of the best things about this movie, because the build-up was perfect. They show Dr. Hell, you get a glimpse of him, you kind of get a feel for who he is and what he wants to do, and then he doesn't really get heavily involved until the final sequence. And Remy, you touched on it, like that last sequence, there was a lot of good fighting at the end of that movie. Like, it was a long fight, but it wasn't a boring fight. It was a very interesting fight. And let's just say that he gave them all that they could handle, because he was real tough to beat. And so I enjoyed it. And I love long fights, long battles, especially when I'm into it. And this is one of the fights that I was into. So really, really good ending sequence. But yeah, Dr. Hell was everything from his design, from how he talks and how he portrays himself. I loved it. So I have no complaints about him. Remy, about you, in your own words, describe your introduction to Dr. Hell and the final battle sequence involving him. What did you think?
I think I thought it was like a really cool villain. Like, I really liked his design. Like, I think the purple with like the white beard was like a very striking look for him. And like, I like his voice too in this. Whoever was the English dub voice actor for him did a really good job with his voice. I think Dr. Hell is like one of those villains where like he doesn't need to be a sympathetic character or sympathetic villain in order to be like interesting. Because like, to me, I still found enough intrigue with him and like what he wanted to do with like giving like DJ said, like giving people enough time to like think about what to do, and then at the end of it, like I think because like the way I look at it is that he kind of just Like he kept asking the question, like, do you think this world is like deserving of existence or something like that? Like he kept asking that throughout the movie.
Right,
Kept
right, yeah.
battle, and that's what he was going to use Infinity for. He was like, I'm going to use. He was like, I'm going to let you guys figure it out, and I'm going to use Infinity to then decide if this world is worth living, and if not, I'm going to destroy everything. So like that, and like
He
I like
gave him
that.
an ultimatum.
Yeah, and I like that ending where like him and Cody kind of have like this standoff between ideals, and he's like, look at this, like all of these politicians, like they're all arguing, they couldn't even come to a decision, like they can't even like come to anything, and like look at you and me, we both just want to fight, we both just want war, we know peace is like not gonna last forever. So
Doesn't
like, why,
he tell them they're actually the same when they were having a dialogue?
yeah, so like why are we even, yeah, you and I both want like
Yeah.
we both crave for fighting, we both want it, we both want to like get into the action. Like we both know peace is temporary, and like I do like that scene where that coach is like, "Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, there's a lot of crappy stuff in the world, but there's also good stuff too. So that's why I'm not going to join you, and that's why I'm not going to like
I'm
let you
not
destroy
joining.
everything."
You're a sucker, man. I ain't joining you.
He was like, "Man, you don't want to destroy everything? Like, come on, dude. That's so like 50s style villain, bro. Come on, man. I ain't doing that."
Yeah,
that was like
yeah, that was a hard fought battle.
Yeah, no, yeah,
was
that
pretty
final
long.
battle too was like really good, and I like that when they shot Dr. Hell up in the space with the beam, whatever. It's all kind of quiet at first, and I'm thinking like, oh, okay, so what are they gonna do the classic like the fade and the villain like just disappears, and then all of a sudden they cut to like a boom, like big.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh damn, no, he's dead. Okay, no, he died. All right, damn.
Yeah, he got completely wiped out. Remy, I forgot.
Like,
they did blast into space.
They were like, Batman who, huh? We don't do that. We don't save our villains here. Dead.
Yeah, they
Just
straight up blew him all the way out of space. Yeah,
Godzilla would approve of such an explosion.
Yeah,
like, hey, I did the same thing to Kaiser Ghidorah. That was great, man. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. They but I mean, they had to get rid of him. There's no way.
I mean, they did. Honestly, they did. I didn't think there was any reason.
There's no way he could have stayed down there.
I mean, think about it. Literally, a villain called Dr. Hell. How are you going to reason with a villain with that name? You're like, no, you got to go.
Like, I'm not gonna say he looked creepy, but he looked intimidating.
Yeah, he did.
Like if we was in their world, we'd be like, "Hey, look, man, look, we just trying to make a living, brother."
Yeah, just like keep it down, all right? We want him to hear, okay?
yeah. Like his design was really cool. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing him again at all. And I'm wondering if I find that anime, I'm wondering if he's in the series because that would be interesting.
No, he is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I just looked up some images of him, and like, there's a lot of images of him, like from the '70s anime.
And the ending of the film was cool as well. I remember, like you said, when you can hear Lisa humming, and then you see the figure of they stole that figure from that boy. He never got it back.
Like, give me that.
But the ending was really cool. And like I said, this was my introduction to it. So now, DJ, you done put me on something else. It was the Kamen Rider. Now this, I'm telling you, Remy, every time
Ultraman.
Ultraman.
Every time he picks a movie, it's like it's straight action. And then I'll be having to forget to pick the movie. So when intro down, I'm like, oh, I thought the movie had already started. But final question, DJ, out of 5 stars, how would you rate this film?
I give it 5 stars. It was a lot of fun. Had the good comedy moments here and there.
Yeah.
Fight sequences were phenomenal. Well, didn't feel drawn out or anything. It wasn't like 5 episodes of them just powering up or anything like that. It was to the point. You had, and it wasn't all just like one direction. I mean, it like the attacks were coming from every direction, from both sides and stuff.
Yeah.
You had your sweet, kind of tender moments through it, and like the romance aspects that showed up in the movie didn't feel forced. It felt like it was a progression of the character arcs from the anime series. Like they're just continuing how those characters were progressing, and sometimes those like romantic arcs can actually ruin it. Like it kind of be like a curveball that you're not expecting or whatever. But I thought that they did a good job getting it to play well with the rest of the movie. So yeah, 5 out of 5.
Everything you said, DJ, was spot on. I'm gonna go a 4 out of 5. There were some points where I had to rewind because I kind of got lost. I didn't know what was going on, but that was kind of like my only like really not even a gripe about it. That was just the only thing that I had to go back and I had to make sure that I just heard everything correctly, which was fine. But from the comical standpoint, from the protagonist and antagonist standpoint, I thought the soundtrack was pretty good too. They had a pretty good soundtrack, so I forgot to throw that in there. That was pretty good. So, and then the animation, the combination between the 2D and 3D animation, it was perfect. So, and I actually wish they would have threw a little more 3D in there when they did do that because it turned out to be pretty cool. So, but no, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it, and now I gotta go look for the animation now. So I want to watch it. I'm really curious about how that goes. Remy, what about you? Out of 5 stars, how would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 5. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna give it a. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Like you, Dylan. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. For like my first time watching anything Mazinger related, I actually really had a lot of fun with it. Again, the animation, really good. Characters, good. Story, good. Like everything I thought about it was good. I thought that the only gripes I have with it is that I thought that some of the ideas they had in the movie, I think, kind of like were hampered by the runtime. Because like they had so much going on in the movie. Like we gotta get this action scene, we gotta get to this story plot, we gotta get to this part of the movie like now. So like you had to keep moving. So like I kind of wish they kind of like explored the alternate realities thing a bit more, rather than just having them just like pull out exposition and talking about it. Like the first time Coach was talking about that alternate reality thing, I was just like completely lost. I was just like it was like in one ear out the other. I'm like, I had no idea what he just said. Right. I'm sure they'll explain it later. And then later when I saw it, I was just like, I still don't understand. But I was like, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I thought that we could have had like, interesting enough, I actually thought we could have had like maybe like 1 or 2 like character moments. I thought that would actually been like interesting to see. Like I don't know. I think like it would have like I think the idea of like Kyoji want to get back in the battle and stuff like that, I think could like maybe like be dived in a bit more, because I thought they just kind of like tackled it like a little bit surface level with just people saying that it was. So I think they could argue a bit more. But again, that's not. But again, they had a red time and stuff like that. It's fine. But like again, that's like 2 things out of the movie that I thought were like mixed, not bad, just mixed. But
Right.
The majority of the movie I thought was really good. I thought this was really fun, and I think that if people are interested in Mazinger, definitely. Like if people are interested in Mazinger or are fans of it or haven't heard of it, I would like recommend this movie to them. Like any anime fan, I'd be like, hey, you ever heard of Mazinger Z Infinity? Check it out. You'll probably enjoy it. Like that's my
give it a shot, man. It was really cool. Like I said, really unique. Thanks to our guy DJ, our brother. Another good pick, another good movie from you, DJ.
You haven't led us astray, DJ. For now.
Yeah, he ain't let me astray. Yeah, he's been hitting it.
Yeah, for now. I'm waiting for one day DJ picks a movie and me and Don are both like, what the hell did you make us watch, DJ? What the hell was that?
Well, see, I always have those kind of movies in the back of my mind, but like there's so many things that are so much cooler to watch, and so I'm like, as fun as it would be to force you guys to watch a horrible movie and torture you with it,
Please,
you
no.
know, like
I will not finish watching it. I probably will not.
you know, but no, I'm glad you guys liked it. Um, you know, I knew a little bit about Mazinger, but not too much when I bought the movie,
Mhm.
and I only watched it the one time after I first bought it. But I really enjoyed it and stuff, and so I've been trying to um, look for a mech movie for a while to like, you know, give another avenue for us to talk about. Since I introduced the Ultraman Kamen Rider and stuff, um, so like I was kind of looking into some Gundam movies and things like that, but then I remembered the Mazinger Infinity, and I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
it's because of the fact that even though it's a continuation of an anime series, you don't really have to have watched it to appreciate what happens in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, a lot of the Gundam-based movies are a continuation of, like, right after the events of the TV series, so it's there's a lot that you can miss by not having seen the series before you see the movie. So,
That's fair. That's a good point, DJ. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Hope our fans, take some time to find it and watch it too. It's a good
Yeah,
movie.
man. Really good movie. Third, Nick, Doris. Of course, we dedicate this show to you three who could not be here tonight. Sci-Fi and Kaiju family, those who did watch and who do continue to watch and come back and watch and support us, we greatly appreciate it. Time is winding down. We thank you for. I know it's a Tuesday. We're normally on Thursday, but I really want to do this review. Well, we really want to do this review, and it was all worth it. Remy, it's always good seeing you.
Mazinger.
There you go.
Mazinger chest beam.
That is cool.
Yeah.
But no, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Again, we are the Sci-Fi Nerds. I am Donald.
DJ.
Jesus.
Remy.
And we are the Sci-Fi Nerds.